Welcome to Future of Flushing. I'm Vito Calisi. With me is Jonathan Barron, and to my left is Nolan McLean, two-way player the Mets just drafted in the 2023 draft. Nolan, what are your first impressions so far of the Mets player development system?
It's really organized, and I think that's something that's going to be really big for me, especially. Like you said, I'm trying to do both, and organization and routine is a big thing, and so far it's been extremely organized, and they couldn't have made it easier for me.
So obviously being a two-way player, very unique, and there's a pretty famous two-way player right now by the name of Shohei Ohtani. So I want to ask you, as a two-way player, what kind of impact has Shohei made on the whole essence of the two-way player? It's not a very common thing. You've done it, you did it in college, now you've done it here in pro ball. What impact would you say Shohei has made on this?
Yeah, I think it's a huge impact. Just kind of opening up the eyes to a lot of the higher ups to show it is possible. Because there's a lot, I'd say there's a decent amount of people like me out there who would like to do both, just because that's what we've grown up doing, and it's baseball. And at the end of the day, I want to be a baseball player, not just a pitcher or a hitter or a position guy. I want to play the game all the way around.
And you didn't pitch that much in high school. It really started in college, right? Mm-hmm. So what spurred that choice, and when did you realize you could do both ways?
I pitched some in high school. I've always had a big arm. And then going to school, I think I threw a few bullpens just to kind of mess around and kind of see what we had. And I didn't really get to pitch until later my freshman year. And then sophomore year, it was a pretty big role for me as late reliever / closer. And yeah, ever since then, I've kind of fell in love with doing both.
And for Mets fans not that familiar with you, you hit top out around 98, you hit the ball over 100. These are big numbers. Not many people can do that. And you homered in your second pro game for the FCL Mets, a ball off the bat over 100. What were your thoughts, your emotions, just hitting that home run and getting off to such a strong start to your pro career?
Yeah, it was exciting. I think just from the college season building up into pro ball, there's such a long break. So I think for me, it was just trying to get back into the game and get back into some competition, and that's really what I was excited for. And in the batter's box, just trying to get back on time and get back into the swing of things. And luckily, I was able to connect pretty early, and yeah, it was super exciting. That was the first game my parents got to come watch.
Oh, wow.
And so they got to see it, and my mom got to take the ball home with her, so it was great.
What was it like that first game when you started on the pitching side, which was just a few days ago, for the team over here?
Yeah, that was exciting. I haven't really started a whole lot in my life. Actually, this past year in college was the first time I ever started, so it's still kind of new to me. I got to figure out how to pace myself a little bit better. I think I was a little amped up just because I was so excited to be out there, but I'm excited to just continue to improve and gain some more experience.
Now let's go back to your college days. In general, how was your experience in Stillwater playing for the Cowboys?
It was some of the most fun I've ever had playing baseball. Josh did a great job finding a collect group of guys that just molded together from the start. The crap talking from day one was at an all-time high, and I was like, man, these guys get it. We're gonna have a lot of fun, and it made just playing that much more fun when you knew everybody had your back.
And what was your draft day experience like?
Yeah, luckily I got a call pretty early in the second day, so wasn't too stressful that second day, but it was just super exhilarating for me and my family just to be able to share that moment together.
And you were actually taken by the Orioles in the third round in 2022. You decided not to sign. You went back to college. What was it that made you want to go back to college at that point in time?
Yeah, I always wanted to start my professional career. At the end of the day, my goal is to play in the big leagues for a long time, and we just couldn't come to an agreement.
Okay.
And there's not many better places than Stillwater, so I was going back to a pretty safe backup plan, and it ended up working out really good.
Stillwater better than Norman, would you say?
Absolutely.
All right,
Way
sorry, Sooners fans.
Now let's talk about some personal stuff off the field. I read that you're a really big fan of The Dark Knight.
Yep. I actually watched the movie last night. I'm not even a huge superhero guy, but I think the movie in general is just a masterpiece. Heath Ledger as the Joker, I think, is one of the greatest cinematic acts that could ever be put together. So I'm a big fan of that movie. I think the Batman and the Dark Knight movies has the coolest suit. He doesn't have any superpowers. He just beats guys up, and that's pretty cool.
Raw power.
Yeah.
Did you see the Robert Pattinson one?
Is that the newest one
The
that came
newest
out?
one, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan.
Okay.
I think because just the Dark Knight was so good to me that's where my expectance level is, and I don't know if anybody would ever be able to top that.
So, what was the name of the second one? I know the Dark Knight with Heath Ledger.
That's the second one.
Right, and what's the third one called?
Dark Knight Rises.
Okay, so that's one with Bane.
With Bane.
You've seen that one as well, right?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so you just walked yourself right into where you didn't want to go. Let's hear the best Bane impression.
Right. What's one of his lines?
I was born in the darkness.
Yeah.
With the mask over his face.
Yeah, he's just like, you merely adopted the darkness. I was born in it.
All right.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Hopefully I'm as jacked as he was too in the movie.
Kid's ripped in that movie.
Yeah.
His traps are insane.
Yeah, looks like Goldberg from WWE.
That's a good one.
Are you a wrestling guy?
Some. My dad's a big wrestling guy. He still watches some of the Summer Slams and stuff like that.
Who's your guy growing up?
Probably Randy Savage, Macho Man.
That predates you by a lot. That's impressive. That's a good one.
And then obviously just when Ric Flair and The Rock would come on and their special events.
Yeah.
I always liked the talkers. It wasn't like obviously Ric Flair was a great wrestler and just could put on a show, but the ability to talk some junk was extremely impressive.
And I'm guessing you grew up watching WCW because that's like the North Carolina was.
WCW, and then I think when I was younger, I ended up getting some action figures, and that's when it really set it off. And my dad was just kind of like, yeah, this guy was around in my time, and then started to learn who Ric Flair was.
That's what dads do.
Well, yeah, and he was like, he'd be able to imitate it. I'm like, well, that's kind of weird, but now I get it.
Now, not to ask you to do another impression, but can you give us a woo?
I knew that was coming.
Woo! Nice.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Woos are
I think
fun.
he's from the North Carolina area too.
I don't know
like
where he's.
Charlotte.
I know he's from. His daughter's ring name is Charlotte, and I know he's huge in Charlotte, but
Yeah.
because that's where they call it Flair country.
Yeah, I think he might be from that area.
All right, well, I mean, I just learned something new. Charlotte's, it makes sense.
Yeah.
North Carolina. So you're from North Carolina. Raising Cane's, is that a chain that's down there in North Carolina? I know they have one here at Port St. Lucie.
I think it's starting to become new. I think Bojangles is more of the thing in North Carolina.
Got it,
Cookout.
right.
Zaxby's?
Zaxby's is
I
pretty
know
big.
Krispy Kreme. I think the
Oh,
second
yeah.
ever Krispy, or maybe the first Krispy Kreme is from
Krispy Kreme's
Raleigh.
from Raleigh. That's
But,
pretty solid.
Yep, but you actually had a little deal with Raising Cane's back during your college days. Why don't you talk a little bit about that and how that came to be?
Yeah, it was kind of just a spur of the moment thing. They reached out and said, hey, like, all you got to do is go in there, take a few pictures.
Okay.
So I ended up getting like a caniac out of it and a couple $100. And
Nice.
yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it. It only took a couple minutes, but I was excited to do it.
All right, and they have one here. They just opened one in Port St. Lucie, so maybe that relationship can be rekindled with Raising Cane's.
Hope, yeah.
Maybe Raising McLean's.
I don't know if they'd go a full branding on me, but maybe. We'll see.
We'll see.
That'd be pretty sweet.
What are some of your goals moving into this offseason as you really get ready for your first pro spring training?
I think continuing to develop on the mound and in the batter's box, obviously. And I think just developing that consistency and being able to trust myself, like from the bullpen to the game or from the batter's box and the cages to the game, and just continue to carry that out. I think it's going to be really big for me.
And how have you dealt with the transitions through from going from college to complex league ball to now single A ball?
I think I've handled it well. I mean, it's been a lot of fun just getting to be around some of these Latin guys from different areas and kind of understanding their stories. I think it's not what a lot of people get to experience. So I'm glad I get to do that. And hopefully eventually I'll be able to go out into the Dominican Republic myself or wherever these guys are from and just get to kind of see where they come from. I think that'd be super exciting. I think more people should try to do that.
Well, since you're a two-way player, we have to ask, would Nolan McLean rather hit a walk-off home run or strike out a guy in a high-leverage situation, maybe ninth inning, bases loaded, up by a run, 3-2 count, pretty much like the ultimate situation you could be?
I don't think anything can beat a walk-off home run.
Everyone says that. I guess I kind of knew that was coming.
You kind of just go numb with it. We had a guy, Aiden Miola, he's from the Florida area, hit a walk-off home run for us in the Big 12 tournament, and it was just electric. And I mean, as many big strikeouts as we've had as a team, like that was by far the coolest moment I've ever been a part of.
Well, you wore a cool shirt, by the way.
Thanks.
We're wearing the same shirt.
Yeah.
Vito's left out, yeah.
I like to wear collars because I'm a businessman.
Yeah.
Look official.
Well, dude, thanks so much for stopping by and talking with us. And, we're excited to watch your future with the Mets.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Nolan.
Yeah, absolutely.